This might just be the most useful town prop that you can put on your table. It gives players choices, delivers quests without exposition, and becomes a living part of your world. So today I'll be building the quest board and breaking down exactly why it works so well in actual play. So as we get started with the cardboard, we're going to talk about why exactly this works so well at the table. A quest board does three important things. First, it gives players agency. Instead of being told what the story is, they choose what interests them. They decide which jobs to take, which rumors to ignore, and which problems matter to them. That choice immediately makes them feel invested. Second, it delivers information without exposition. Each notice on the board is short, focus hook, no speeches, no lore dump, just enough to spark curiosity. And third, it becomes a living object. Notices get removed, new ones appear, old jobs come back with consequences. The board physically changes over time, which reinforces that the world is moving even when the players are not looking. This is why I consider it one of the strongest town props that you can use. For a long time, one of my biggest problems as a DM has been transitions. So the party would arrive in a town and suddenly everything seemed to slow down. I had hooks prepared, but delivering them meant exposition, NPCs explaining problems, me talking more than I wanted to. It always feels like I'm pushing the story instead of letting the players pull it forward themselves. And that's where the quest board changed that for me. At the table, it becomes a moment of pause. Players gather around it, they read, they discuss, they debate. And as a DM, those are some of my favorite moments when they can really just interact with each other as their characters. You get a few minutes to breathe while the players do the work for you. They start asking questions out loud, they reveal what they care about, they argue priorities without you prompting anything. It also gives you control over pacing without it feeling forced. If you want a low-stakes session, you post simple work, escort jobs, missing supplies, small problems that keep the world grounded. If you want to escalate, you change what's on the board. Notices tied to cult activity, disappearances, political tension, jobs that pay too well for what they're asking. You're not announcing a tone shift. The board does it for you. And because it's physical, you can tell stories without saying a word. A neatly written notice from a local guild feels organized and official. A desperate, half-torn plea nailed up crooked tells a whole different story. Different paper, different ink, different symbols. All of that communicates world state instantly. The quest board stopped me from over-explaining. It gives my players agency, and it turned a problem moment into my sessions into one of the most reliable tools I use. It's not just a quest delivery system, it's environmental storytelling that works while you step back. And I'm curious, what tools, systems, or tricks do you use to really bring your worlds to life and make your games really feel full and immersive? And one of my favorite parts about this build is just how approachable it is. It's not a multi-week project or something you need advanced tools for. It's actually beginner-friendly, forgiving, and easy to customize. You can build this in an afternoon, even if you're brand new to terrain crafting. The construction alone took less than an hour, and for the painting and everything else, it was probably another hour into it, not counting the drawing time. The structure is simple, straight cuts, basic textures, and because it's meant to look worn and used, imperfections actually make it better. A chipped edge or uneven board just adds character. You can keep it basic or as detailed as you'd like. Paint it up quickly and it's tabletop ready. Spend more time on weathering and notices and it becomes a centerpiece. If you ever wanted to try making props but didn't know where to start, this is a great first build. I've linked all the tools and materials I use for this project down below, so if you want to follow along or build one for your own table, everything you need is right there. Now at this stage of the build, I'm just wrapping up the construction, finishing up the roof supports and adding on the boards. Now the techniques I use for this are very simple and straightforward. I just cut the same couple pieces for the wood planks and texture those with a brass brush. And for me, that's a big part of what makes this build so obtainable, is that it is very simple. There's nothing crazy. There's not dozens of techniques and strategies you have to know. It's just texturing foam, gluing it together, and a basic paint job. It really is just the perfect project that not only adds a great deal to your stories, but gets you to a position where you know if this is something that you'd like to pursue further. In the matter of an afternoon, you can have a functional piece of storytelling that not only looks great, but was simple and allows you to know if it's something you're actually interested in pursuing further before you take on a multi-hour project that spans days. Now, if you want more behind-the-scenes looks at the Craft Cave and what we're doing, then come over and join our Discord. That's where the community helps vote on projects, suggest lore, and shape some of the one-shots and ideas that go into these builds. The server's completely free to join, and there's a link down below. I'm curious, if you had a quest board in your world, what's the first notice you'd pin to it? A missing person? A monster sighting? Perhaps something more political? Whatever it is, let me know down in the comments below, and it could just inspire another build here on the Craft Cave. So now that the construction is complete, it's time to seal this. And for that, we're going to be using Mod Podge mixed with black acrylic paint. Now, the purpose of the Mod Podge for this is to protect the foam itself from the spray paint that we'll be basing it with, but it also adds a nice bit of support and rigidity to it, making it more durable overall. With these foam pieces being this thin, it is very risky that it could bend and break, and by adding a couple layers of the Mod Podge, it's a good way to ensure that it's protected. Now to prime it, we're just going to take some of this Rust-Oleum Ultra Matte Black spray paint and give it a nice coat. To actually paint it, we're going to take burnt umber and some nutmeg brown, just to create a nice kind of middle tone base layer for the wood structure itself. And we're going to give that a nice heavy coat, making sure that there's no globs or anything that are going to hide or obstruct any of that wood grain or detail on this build. To actually get the full coverage that we needed, I actually ended up doing 2 coats just to ensure that none of that black was going through, and we had a nice full wood grain texture. Now, to actually highlight that, I'm going to take a little bit of nutmeg brown, and I'm just going to very carefully overbrush that, making sure that we're grabbing the highlights, and this is going to grab that wood grain texture and really put in some nice contrast there for us. Now, to darken it back down and deepen those grooves, I'm just going to make a nice black wash and put that over the entire thing. You want to make sure that you're doing it fairly heavily and not doing multiple passes, because it will start to smudge and rub off your paint, which you do not want. Now, for the actual board itself, I wanted to separate it a bit from where the posters would be so it didn't look just like a big solid piece of wood. So I'm going to take some nutmeg brown and some white and just carefully paint inside that original board structure. Now this will just do a nice job to really separate the notice board itself from the structure and create a nice bit of contrast on the table. For me, this was just the general look that I was going for, but experiment yourself. Now, creativity isn't about talent. It's about giving yourself permission to play, experiment, and make mistakes. Every mark you make, every idea you try teaches you something new. So dive in, trust yourself, and explore the limitless world of your own imagination. You never know what you'll discover. Now for the basing, we're going to take some sand and gravel and just mix that into a small dish with some school glue and some nutmeg brown and some burnt umber paint. This will create a nice basing that will work as a nice ground cover. Now this will add a nice bit of texture and weight to the project overall. So you're going to want to scoop that on there fairly heavily, but spread it out nice and thin so you're not having too much rubble and debris and waiting several hours for that glue to dry. Now this is the same technique that I used in my How to Ruin Your Builds video, where I'm using this as a wall filler and ground cover. It creates a nice durable look that really looks nice and realistic. Now for the grass layer itself, we're just going to take some school glue, spread out very thinly with a brush, making sure that we get that all in there where we'd like it. I'm also keeping in mind of where foot traffic would be, so right in front of the board, it's going to be not as grassy and a little thinner, so really it just acts as a nice piece of visual storytelling that really shows that there are some wear and tear in life that's being added into your builds. Now for the notices themselves, we're going to start by making some tea, and we're just going to take some black tea and some hot water and let that steep for a little bit. Then we're going to take some paper. I'm using a little bit heavier cardstock and just wiping that tea all over here, making sure it's nice and saturated on both sides. This will help it ensure that it's stained all the way through and you don't have any kind of white gaps or areas that don't look as dark. From there, we're just going to bake it in the oven on a pan at about 250 degrees for maybe 10 to 15 minutes. Just keep an eye on it and make sure it doesn't burn. Now, once you have that done, you'll have a nice piece of weathered paper. From here, I'm just going to cut that into strips and then cut those strips into pieces of parchment that look about the right size for a notice. And these don't have to be perfect, but just whatever style and size looks appropriate to you. To actually get those in place, I'm just going to put a little bit of school glue on the back of those and put them on there, and then brush a little bit more glue over the top just to help seal those in and protect them. Now for the notices themselves, there's nothing fancy here, just scribbled a couple lines on there to make it look like small writing, a few bold words, and maybe some numbers, but you can also just find some designs online or create your own at that scale that you'd like to use. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this build, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss a new project. Your support really helps the channel grow and keeps the ideas flowing. And if you're ready to see another piece that every D&D table needs, check out our tavern build, the heart of so many countless great adventures. From lively conversations to epic battles, it's where stories are born and memories are made. So dive in, get inspired, and let your imagination run wild. Happy building, and I'll see you in the next video.